1975 brought us some unforgettable movies. If you were lucky enough to see them when they first came out, you know the impact they had. It's hard to believe they're turning 50, but that's a testament to how timeless they feel. Still perfect in nearly every way. Michelangelo Antonioni's The Passenger, the final film in his English-language trilogy, flew under the radar upon its release. While Jack Nicholson's performance received praise, some critics felt that the film's narrative was weighed down by its focus on existential themes. The story follows David Locke, a journalist who arrives in the northern Sahara to work on a documentary, only to find his life and career unraveling. Battling personal and professional crises, Locke fakes his own death after his hotel neighbor unexpectedly passes away, seeking a way to escape his responsibilities. Though it didn't succeed commercially, Nicholson, who regarded the film as one of his best, acquired its rights in 1983 and later led efforts to restore it. Over time, the film, once largely overlooked, has come to be recognized as one of Antonioni's finest works, praised for its profound exploration of alienation and identity, and its visually striking philosophical narrative. Monty Python and the Holy Grail was the first feature film from the iconic British comedy troupe. Following the success of Monty Python's Flying Circus, the group took their absurd, self-aware humor to the big screen with a hilarious, plotless take on the King Arthur legend. In the film, King Arthur embarks on a quest to find the Holy Grail, joined by his quirky knights of the Round Table. Each knight is uniquely ridiculous, from the brave yet senseless Sir Lancelot to the terrified Sir Robin. In fact, it wouldn't be wrong to call Monty Python and the Holy Grail the funniest fantasy movie ever made. This wild and timeless comedy is sure to split anyone's side from start to finish. Love and Death is a clever blend of satire and homage to Russian literature, featuring one of Woody Allen's funniest performances as Boris Grushenko. Set during the Napoleonic Wars, Boris is a man caught in a world full of contradictions and chaos, desperately trying to make sense of his suffering. He's confused about life and death, asking, why? A question that leads him into a series of absurd, yet endearing situations. The film earned over $20 million at the US box office, making it the 21st highest-grossing film of 1975. Nashville is not your typical movie. It's an intricate web of 24 characters and 27 songs. Director Robert Altman often called it a musical, and while that description fits, it has taken on a different identity over the years. A collective portrait of America in the 1970s. The story revolves around a political convention and an ensemble cast who are all related to the event in one way or another. Some are staff members, politicians, or attendees, and all have their own unique and rhythmic roles to play in this large gathering. Though it was criticized at the time by country enthusiasts, Nashville has gradually evolved into a classic musical film that is still loved by country lovers even 50 years later. Night Moves is one of the great thrillers of the 1970s, with Gene Hackman delivering a masterful performance as private investigator Harry Mosby. A former football player turned detective, Mosby takes on what seems like a routine case, tracking down the runaway teenage daughter of a washed-up actress. But his search leads him deep into a world of deception and violence, stretching from Hollywood to the Florida Keys. With a literate, witty script by Alan Sharp and direction by Arthur Penn, Night Moves blends classic noir with a postmodern sensibility. It was overshadowed at the box office, but over time, its reputation has grown, and it's now seen as one of the best crime films of its era. It's impossible to talk about 1975 and not mention Jaws. Jaws wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural revolution. Released on June 20th as summer began, it turned Steven Spielberg into one of Hollywood's biggest directors. With its simple but terrifying premise, Jaws instilled a deep fear of the ocean in an entire generation. The film's brilliance lies in what it doesn't show. Due to mechanical problems with the shark, Spielberg was forced to limit its screen time, instead building suspense through editing, sound, and John Williams' unforgettable score. The result is a masterclass in tension and horror. Jaws set the standard for the modern blockbuster, showing that a straightforward concept, executed with precision, could captivate audiences worldwide. It's a crime comedy that's both outrageous and clever, with an Oscar-winning screenplay. Al Pacino plays Sonny, based on real-life robber John Wojtowicz. What starts as a simple heist in New York soon spirals out of control, turning into a hostage crisis with clueless criminals who have no plan. Fresh off the Godfather films, Pacino and John Cazale chose something completely different. Sonny is robbing the bank to pay for gender reassignment surgery for his wife, a trans woman. This unexpected twist adds depth to what initially seems like a typical macho crime story, offering a surprising look at masculinity and identity. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a powerful story about rebellion and control. Based on Ken Kesey's novel, it became one of the few films to win all 5 major Academy Awards. Jack Nicholson plays Randall McMurphy, a convict who fakes insanity to avoid prison, only to find himself trapped in a mental institution ruled by the cold and manipulative Nurse Ratched. What follows is a battle of wills, where McMurphy's defiance inspires the other patients to reclaim their dignity. Dark yet deeply human, it challenges the audience to question authority and think about who truly gets to decide what is normal. Nearly 50 years later, its message remains just as relevant. The Man Who Would Be King is an adventure film based on Rudyard Kipling's novella. Set in 19th century India, it stars Sean Connery and Michael Caine as 2 British soldiers who set out for Kafiristan, a remote land untouched by outsiders for centuries. Their goal? To become kings. Nominated for 4 Oscars, the film didn't take home any, but its quality speaks for itself. Connery and Caine's chemistry is unforgettable, making the story both thrilling and tragic. Beneath the action and humor lies a sharp critique of colonialism, showing the dangers of arrogance and unchecked ambition. Barry Lyndon may not be Kubrick's most famous film, but it's one of his most visually stunning. Based on an 1844 novel, it follows Redmond Barry, a charming but ruthless soldier who schemes his way through 18th century Europe. Played by Ryan O'Neal, Barry fights in the 7 Years' War, switches allegiances, and eventually marries the wealthy Lady Lyndon, hoping to secure his place among the aristocracy. Although it won 4 Oscars in technical categories, the film wasn't an instant hit, but time has only strengthened its reputation. At over 3 hours long, it's a slow burn, but for those willing to commit, it's an unforgettable cinematic experience.